Okay, so I am here to tell my brother's story. I'm Shelby Salazar. My brother is Ty Hughes. I don't know what's going on here. We'll wipe that away. Today is my first day coming out to the cemetery after they put his headstone up, so I got pretty emotional earlier because, this is like the realest thing ever. But anyway, so a lot of people, since I grew up in a small town, a lot of people know what happened to Ty, but I want to clarify things. I want to bring awareness as to what happened. God, what is happening with my face? Oh my God, it's fine. It's fine. It's the lighting. Or maybe it's just my face. But anyway, so what happened to Ty is, Ty was 22 years old, and we couldn't get a hold of Ty one morning, and he still lived with my parents. He was working 2 jobs, and we couldn't get a hold of him, and so we were like, maybe he's sleeping, It was on a Monday. And my dad is a worst case scenario person, so he's all, what if something happened to him? Because we had heard of a death of one of his friends earlier that day. My mom got so mad at my dad. Bobby, why would you say that? And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, Dad, for real. So I'm like, well, I'm going to head out to my hometown because Ty's going to need me because something happened to his friend. And when I was almost home, my mom called me and she said, don't speed, but you do need to get home because Ty's dead. And so I did. And when I got there, my one of my childhood best friends, we've been friends since we were 3. Her name's Lindy. And she was the first person that I saw and I hugged. And to show where my faith was, the first thing I said to her, I hugged her and I was crying and I said, Ty is engulfed in the presence of God. And I kept saying that. And as I was saying it in my head, I thought, why am I saying that? Like, your brother's dead. Why are you saying that? But that showed me where I was at. And I'm so thankful that I found God 6 years ago, and because I don't know where I'd be, because Ty wasn't just my brother, he was my twin. We shared 51% DNA. We were the same person. So anyway, I go up to my mom and she's talking to the cops, and my mom goes, well, you can ask his sister. She knows everything. So they asked me if I know of any drug use or anything that Ty did. So this is 2020. So anyway, I tell them this is on a Monday, and I had talked to Ty for like 30 minutes on Saturday. And we had talked about, like, where he's at with his life and what he's doing with his job and stuff. And so they asked me about drug use, and I said, honestly, right now, like, I just talked to him, and he said he's just smoking weed, but he's trying to stop smoking weed. And I was really proud of him for that, because, like, what we talked about, and this is my opinion, I could, I'm not trying to sit here and alter anybody else's thinking, but, oh God, there's a bee around me. Why can't I just have a normal video? Okay, it's gone. Anyway, so, God bless it, I'm trying to think of where I was. Son of a gun, hang on. Just bear with me. Come on, brain, you can do this. Yes. So, where I'm not trying to change anybody's mind, but I had talked to Ty and I said, I think if you smoke weed or whatever for medical purposes, that's fine. But if you're doing it to numb yourself, that's where you shouldn't be doing that, because, and I know I'm probably so annoying by saying this, but if you're taking weed or a medication or something for seizures, let's say, and that's helping me with seizures, that's a medical thing. But if you're taking it because your brother died and you're in a rough place or you're having issues or whatever, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be going to God. But so him and I had that conversation, and so he was trying to stop smoking weed, and I was so proud of him. And that was all he was doing, because he had a game plan, and my brother was finally like getting to a really awesome place in his life. I was so proud, and he was working 2 jobs, and it was awesome. And so I told them that, and they asked me, they said, well, has he ever done heroin? I'm like, no, he has not done heroin. And they asked me that because of the presence of Ty. When we found Ty, he, and part of me is like, maybe I shouldn't go into detail with this, but it is what it is. So I'm already a real person. So when we found Ty, he had foam coming out of his nose and his mouth, and he was covered in vomit, and he was laying in his bed in his position of sleep. And so that's how we found him, and that characteristic is that of an overdose. And they asked if he was abusing pills or anything like that, and he wasn't. He wasn't. This is something that I feel is very important, and I want to address it, because I feel like after all this happened, this is something that Ty would want to be addressed. Ty hurt his shoulder his junior year of high school. We made him keep playing, because if you get surgery in high school, most likely a college won't want you. So he just kept tearing up his shoulder, tearing up his shoulder, tearing up his shoulder. He would take some muscle relaxers or pain pills from my dad every so often, and I said, Ty, you shouldn't be doing that, but whatever. And then he finally gets surgery. So he plays his freshman year of college football, against all these adults, and he's 18 years old, so that was a big deal. And he messes it up even more, so he goes and gets surgery. So this was prior to the opioid real crisis, where all the doctors cut down on their prescriptions, but Ty was overprescribed OxyContin. And he had come to me at one point in time, and also to one of my girlfriends, because of course, even though he was 4 years younger, he was always trying to date my friends. Oh well. But anyway, and he was like, Shell, I'm in a bad place. And he said, I need to stop. I want to stop taking OxyContin, but I can't. And I mean, this kid got a fat prescription of it, and he got some refills. We sat down as a family, me, my mom, dad, brother, and we all talked about it, and we figured out a plan, and he stopped, and it was good, and we were moving on the up and up, and it was all good. And so guys, this was in 2017, 2018. Well, after his shoulder surgery, he feels a separation from the football team, the college football team. So he calls me just hysterical. And if you've ever been in college, you've probably had this moment too. I did, and I don't know why this happens to most of us in college, but he called me crying, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be in college. I'm miserable. I want to die, all this stuff. I had him come over to my house, and I told him, here's the deal. If you don't want to play football anymore, don't play football. I said, Dad's going to be pissed. Some other people might be disappointed. And I said, but your mental well-being is more important than hitting people, And so he talks to my mom, and he stops football. And for the longest time, one of the main reason Ty quit football, what really hurt him, is he started working out again, and someone made a comment. Someone said, Ty Hughes, you're still on the team? And that like shattered him for some reason. That shattered him. So anyway, so he gets out of college, moves in with my parents for like 2 years. The kid, he's not getting a job, but it's not, and we're thinking he has great work ethic and he's teachable, he's trainable. Like, why doesn't he have a job? Why isn't he applying anywhere? And God revealed this to me after Ty passed away, that Ty's identity growing up was football. I was like, my identity was softball. Like, I was going to go play college softball. I had to go play college softball. Softball was my life. Never good enough, never good enough, never good enough. And Ty felt the same way. And that's why I think I drilled at him so much to go to church. Because I know that feeling. I know that feeling of not being good enough. I know that feeling of not making people proud, of falling short. I know that feeling. And it sucks because I lived with that feeling from the time I was like 11 or 12 until I was 19 or 20. And we were twins. We were raised the same way, and I know he felt the same way. And once I found God, I realized, I explored that more. And I realized that, like, I'm cool. I'm good enough. You know, it's good. I'm worth something. And I pushed him to go to church with me so bad because it's heavy, man. If you've dealt with, which I'm sure you have, we all have. There's always someone or something, and we're never freaking good enough. For some reason, we're never freaking good enough. And Ty came to church with me, but he never, and he got saved, and he gave his life to God, and he was trying and things like that, but he didn't stay plugged in. And you have to stay plugged in, man. He didn't stay plugged in. He didn't keep seeking. He didn't keep, because what happens is we're in a weak spot. We go to church. We do whatever we're supposed to do. Then life gets a little bit better. We take God and we're like, thank you for your time. We set God over here. Then we go back out and we're running and doing whatever we're supposed to be, whatever we think is best. Then we get in another tight spot. Your gut feeling, if you don't believe in God or you're unsure, your gut feeling, whenever you get a gut feeling, that's God. That's your spirit. And like, I feel cheesy for saying that and even mentioning that in this, but like, I was not vibing with God for a long time in my life. Like, people would come up and be like, oh, are you going to go to heaven or hell? And I'd be like, I don't care. Get away and don't tell me how to live my life. Like, thanks so much, crazy Christians. And that was it. But anyway, I wish I would have kept Ty plugged in, because what makes me sad is the idea that he died still not feeling good enough. He finally got a job, and he ended up doing something that it ended up being a passion of his. And on his death certificate, we actually put horticulturist. He worked at a nursery, and he loved it. And it was so exciting because I had talked to him one day and I said, hey, I'm about to place an order at the nursery, and I'll pick it up tomorrow. And he was like, well, what did you get? And so I'm trying to tell him, and he's telling me the scientific name. How cute is that? And he found something, and I was so proud. I was just thinking, you're not Ty Hughes, the football star that stopped doing football. You're not this worthless kid that failed everyone. I was like so excited because I'm like, you're finding something you enjoy. can you imagine going to work every day whenever it's like this? Like, I don't know what time it is because I don't have a watch, but I bet you it's about 10 a.m. And you go and you sit and you look, or well, he wasn't sitting, but you go and you're like working with beautiful flowers. That's awesome. He loved that so much. It was so cool. And then he started working at a gym and he was getting himself back in shape. Anyway, I'm trying to sit here and tell you guys how he died, but I'm giving you all this backstory. I assume it's for a purpose. I don't know. So Ty ended up having to have another shoulder surgery because he clicked it out again or something. I mean, and this kid, his first shoulder surgery was supposed to be like an hour and a half and it was 5 hours long. Like, he tore his shoulder up. So anyway, then after that, I think Ty was, by his second shoulder surgery, the opioid thing had already happened. And so people stopped getting intense drugs and they started getting like freaking 800 milligram ibuprofen or whatever, So he was cool. We didn't have any more issues. He didn't have any more issues. So back to May 11th when he died. I watched my brother get wheeled out in a body bag. But it wasn't really a body bag, and I thought that was strange. It's like he was wrapped up in like quilts, but they weren't quilts from like our bed or his bed. Strange. And then of course they almost dropped him, and part of me was like, that's what he would have wanted. But it was traumatizing. Look at him. I miss him so much. He was always more attractive than me, and that makes me so mad. Like, I had to have braces, and he didn't. And my dad's like, he had braces. You guys, he had Invisalign. That does not count. I have metal. There's pictures of me, and it looks like I have, like, little black specks on my teeth because my teeth are so big. And he tanned well, and I'm like my dad. I still stay this color year round. Year round. Year round. But, man, he was my best friend. But back to how he died. So they're saying it's an overdose, right? Well, then the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics comes to our house, and they're like, they search through his room, and they say, well, there's no pills here, but we're going to say it's probably fentanyl. And I'm just like, wow. Some other pills were found somewhere. And those pills tested for half Oxycontin, half fentanyl. And I had planned to bring out a little thing to demonstrate it, but I don't have it, so whatever. But if there's a pill bottle, literally like a salt shaker amount of fentanyl is equivalent to half a pill bottle full of heroin. And I'll tell you right now, my brother did not want to die. I talked to him on Saturday, and he was telling me how, like, he's losing weight and he's getting his tan, and he died 18 days before his birthday, and he did not want to die. I still can't believe he died. So anyway, I didn't know anything about fentanyl, and Ty didn't know anything about fentanyl because we would have discussed it. We would have talked about it. And I even talked to his friends after he died, and I'm like, was there something that I didn't know? Was he doing pills again? And they all said no. So here's the deal. There's 3 reasons Ty took an Oxycontin. 1, his shoulder hurt, and he's easily taken over, 50 in his lifetime per the shoulder surgeries, the overprescription in 2016. So he knows how they're going to make him feel. So let's say his shoulder was hurting. He takes one. He knows it's going to fix it. 2, second reason could be to help him sleep. My mom found him. My mom worked in a morgue when she was in nursing school. So based on his rigor mortis, we found him at like 10:30 or 11. And so she said that she guesses he had been dead for like 8 hours. So, he probably took it around 1:30 or 2. So like I said, maybe he took it to sleep. And the third reason, which the more I think about it, I could be wrong, but I'm trying to speak to people out there. He might have also taken it because he was 22 years old. I've never taken Oxycontin, but from what I hear, he was 22 years old. And if it's given to you, why not take it, right? So anyway, I asked my counselor why I did all of this, because there was one night and I had to look up what happens to the body when someone overdoses. What are the first things to shut down? Why was Ty foaming at the mouth? Why did this? I had to look up what's the first thing that happens in an autopsy. And I asked my counselor, I said, I feel like I should be there. We moved his bed out of his room the next day, obviously. And I laid down where I laid down as if his bed was still there, and I laid in the position that he was in, and I thought, why am I doing that? And my counselor said that since him and I saw each other as twins, that's just something that twins are they want to do. They feel the need to do everything together. And so that's why I felt like I should have been there with him the whole time. So what I'm trying to get across to people is Ty was 6'1", 6'1", I don't know. He's big. He's a big dude. And it took a small blue pill to kill him. The good news is, what happened is he takes the pill. Once it starts breaking down, I didn't really see if it's like, once it's in his stomach or if it started dissolving in the mouth, because technically like the tongue is the first step of digestion. But anyway, build up of feel-good cell chemicals right here, and then it shuts down the respiratory system. So what's good is Ty was already like unconscious. So he does, it's not like his heart was still beating and he was like, my lungs aren't moving anymore. Like, he was already asleep, most likely. And since his heart kept pumping, but his lungs were stopped, he, the sacs in his lungs burst. And so that's where all that happened. Ty. So, I want to try and figure out what I need to do for the sake of, here's the deal. I've met a few people, and my dad wants to do this, and I agree, is we need to have like how we have like an Amber Alert or Silver Alerts or whatever, or even on those signs on the highway where it talks about like, click it or ticket or in DUI. We need to have something about like pills being on the street that are laced. Because the Bureau of Narcotics said that like 2 people had died like 2 weeks before Ty. Like actually like 4 people or something like that in surrounding areas. And then we find out in other states. And then I just found out recently, 2 weeks after Ty died, like 1 or 2 more other dudes died. I'm also about to blow my nose, so please give me a moment. Look at the beautiful sky and scenery. Oh, okay. Where's my This is so embarrassing for you guys to hear this. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Wow. In case you're wondering, which you're probably not, my mom blows her nose that loud. So that's just a fun fact. Let me tuck this thing back in my nose so it doesn't gross anybody out. All right. Oh, yes. Oh, that's good. Okay, anyway, so, realistically, I told people we should not be pissed off at God because Ty died. And the reason we shouldn't be pissed off at God is we are so happy for free will. God gave us free will. Yeah, I can go sleep with that person. Yeah, I can go do drugs. I can go do this because God's going to forgive me. Freaking yes. Yes, free will, free will. And Ty's free will, he was like, I'm going to take this Oxycontin. And it freaking killed him. So the only person we can be mad at, yes, we can be mad at the drug dealers, whatever, but ultimately Ty took that pill. What I wish would have happened is I wish Ty would have, if I could have kept him in church, if he could have kept pursuing God strong and hard like I did. I know people aren't like me. I get it. I know we're not all alike in that aspect. But then maybe his gut would have told him, hey, save that pill for tomorrow. Or like, hey, don't take this. You were addicted to it years ago. Don't do it again. But that's not what happened. I'm trying to get y'all to come to church. Y'all gotta come to church. Y'all gotta come to church. And I don't care if you go to my church. I don't care if you go to a mega church. I don't care if you go to a small church. Here's the deal. You go to church. You need that guidance. Life is hard. We don't make good choices, obviously. Obviously. I'm at a freaking cemetery right now. You know? But you connect with God in your gut, your spirit. The Holy Spirit resonates in your spirit. And that's what tells you, don't do that. Y'all, more people are going to freaking die, bro. We got to get plugged up with God, man. Like, for real. For real. And what people don't understand is you don't have to be perfect. I need y'all to understand this. I've been going to church and doing this God thing now for 6 years. 6 years in November. For the first 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I smoked a lot of weed. I transported with some individuals. They were drug dealers, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll be your friend. Idiot. I did that. I had no self-respect and hooked up with people. And then I went to church. I went to church, hugged the same people, felt good, prayed, cried during worship, went home, said, I'm going to do better. And by Wednesday, I'm texting people I should not be texting. I'm freaking getting high. Okay, you don't have to be perfect. And it frustrates me for the people that think they do, because that's religion, that's old thinking. If you're going to wait until you're perfect, you're never going to go to church. And if you never go to church and you never experience God, then you're never going to get free. You're never going to feel good enough. You're never going to feel like you're going to be stuck in depression. You're going to be stuck in sickness. And it's like, I say life's too short. But the other thing I keep saying is I have 60 years till I see my twin again. Because I hope to be dead around, like, by 6, 7, 8, well, like 90. I think 90, that's get me out of here. You know what I mean? 90, I'm sure things aren't working anymore, but that's past the point. If you've made it in here this long, because I see that this video is 30 minutes, there's we're doing water baptism at my house. Jesus got baptized. The idea of water baptism is you get, everything gets washed away and you come up and you're new. And it's more so just a representation. And I wish Ty would have done it, because when I got baptized, I came up and I felt lighter. I felt lighter and I felt better. So I encourage you guys, here's the deal. Reach out to me. We need to hang out, because you got to get your freaking life together, okay? It's 2020. The world's in shambles. It's time you get your crap together. Why are you still doing the same thing you were doing 6 years ago? Huh? Like, you're still in a bad place. Something's wrong. Do an internal evaluation. You don't need to kill yourself. You don't need to beat yourself up. But what you do need to do is you need to realize that you owe it to yourself to be honest with yourself. Why? Why are you still in the same place? Why are you still not happy? Why are you still alone? Why are you still addicted to drugs? Why are you still disrespecting your body? Like, what's going on? What's going on? It's time that we get it together, guys. This doesn't even have to do with Ty, this part right now about us getting, I mean, it slightly does, because like I keep saying, if I could have kept Ty plugged in more, no matter how good he was feeling, if I could have kept him plugged in, then maybe he would have made a different decision, but he freaking didn't, and he's dead. And I can't wait till my mom and dad get rid of these goat heads that are on this ground over here, because I want to lay down right here. Because if I lay down right here on my side, I'm laying down right next to my brother. And I just want to be next to him and see him. This is the worst. The worst. The worst. If you're gay, you need to go to church. Not to not be gay. That's not it at all. You need to go to church to make people that are going to lift you up. People that are going to encourage you. If you're an alcoholic, you need to go to church because you need people that are going to lift you up. If you're struggling, you need to find people that will lift you up. Because you cannot afford one more day, one more time of shooting up with that needle, of drinking another liter, drinking your sorrows away under a neon moon. Which I love that song. It's, you need to surround yourself with people like that. My husband was an alcoholic. My husband knows what it's like to withdraw from Xanax, withdraw from Coke, to withdraw from, I mean, the dude's been through the dang thing. Me, I don't know all of that. I had trouble getting off weed and liquid hydrocodone because that was a time frame in my life, unfortunately. We're worth so much and we're too hard on ourselves. But like, at what point in time are we going to say, you know what? Yeah, I got to get it together, bro. You know? I was never a person that cared about heaven or hell. People would be like, you're going to go to hell. And I'd be like, oh, no, not hell. And I still, God hasn't, revealed anything to me where, hell is like a threatening thing or, anything like that. But I kind of don't want that day to come. But to me, old time religion and what people are stuck on in the past is they just see God as this aggressive God that is like, you can't obey direction, you suck. And the last thing we need is someone else to tell us that we freaking suck, right? But that's not the way it goes anymore. You can't stop drugs unless you have God. For the love of all things, you go to AA to talk about a higher power. I mean, whether that's Buddha or I don't know, You're not strong enough to do it by yourself, obviously. Obviously. I don't know where this tangent is going. I miss my brother. I used to talk to him about everything. As always, guys, I'm sorry this video was 35 minutes long. I hope I covered everything. Ty died of fentanyl, acute fentanyl toxicity. So he died very fast. Most likely was not in pain. It's marked on his death certificate as accidental. It does say drug use. That blows. My brother didn't want to die at all. And now what's left out of our checklist of things to do, what we still have to do that's left is there were 4 drug dealers that were apprehended. 1 died of COVID in jail. There are 3 more still in jail. They're getting all these other charges pressed on them. And then now that Ty came back, now it's just up to maybe like the attorney general or something to see if they want to press murder charges. So what's going to suck about that is then it's going to be all over the news. And my brother's face is going to be all over the news. And then if these guys get convicted, everyone's going to be like, yeah, justice, right on, woo. But it's like, my brother is still dead. I will never talk to him again on this earth. I will not get to call him and tell him, dude, I'm pregnant again. And I would get so excited with me, which I'm not pregnant right now. But I've thought about it because I plan to have kids eventually. And like, who am I going to call? Come out here, sit on this bench, look at this picture of my brother and talk to dirt. You know? Biblically, it says that when Jesus left, the disciples were sad and they were like, no, Jesus, wait, don't go. And Jesus said, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to send the ultimate comforter. And he sent his Spirit. And you guys, it's not, Shelby, you've been so strong. It's the Holy Spirit has lifted me up. He's held me up during this whole time. It's been 4 months. Dang. Next month it'll be 5. The hardest 5 months of my life. So the least I can do is just keep saying like what's on my heart. Okay, oh my God, it was a horsefly. It was a horsefly, not a bee. Oh. This video, I'm sure, is wild. Okay, guys. With that being said, this is my first YouTube video. It's 38 minutes long. I'm so sorry about that. Make good choices. Do an internal evaluation. Don't freaking kill yourself because it's too many steps. Just freaking reach out to me. Let's get this life thing going because let's change, bro. I love you guys. Be gracious to yourself. And as always, remember to drink some water today.